Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How y'all feeling out there? I am Omi Bell. I'm here with my co-host, Takia Ross. How you
Good
feeling this morning?
morning. I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm rocking and rolling. This is what I got. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm making it happen. I'm doing all the things. Um, so what have you been seeing? Any new trends in the business world that you're seeing? I mean, a bunch of people shutting down and shifting. I saw
Yeah.
something the other day. I saw this post the other day that said, like everybody I know is pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think that's actually interesting. Like everybody, because what else you gonna do in this kind of climate? But what but what are you seeing? Are you seeing anything that
Yeah, I
you
mean, I think I'm seeing the same thing you are. We are seeing an influx of founders who are closing, right? Founders who are deciding to do business differently, right? So they might still be in business. However, they're being very intentional about launches. Like they're not launching as many products, or, they might be launching at specific times a year. So I'm seeing a lot of that. I think I'm also seeing an influx of founders revisiting some of the goals that they had prior to, like some of the dreams that they had for themselves prior to becoming an entrepreneur, whether that be to get degrees or go back to school or to work in a specific field. I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm also seeing a lot of pivots away from sometimes people offering like all of these digital products. So I'm
mm,
of pivoting away from that, where people are just like, not offering as much of that. But that's what I'm seeing in the landscape. In beauty, like a lot of beauty professionals have not come back, right? Where
mm.
they decided like I might do it, but a little part time. I'm not, or they're going to more high ticket items, right? Where I don't have to work
Mm,
as much or as hard, but the ticket price is up there. So
mm,
yeah, that's what I'm seeing a lot of. It's a lot of stuff happening around just, you know, economically, socially, like politically, racially. And I think it's impacting everybody.
yeah, I like that. I'm so glad that you said that because I think I agree. There's a lot happening. There is, and what it's causing us to do is make a lot of decisions right now.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's what
I
it's
think
causing
so.
us to do.
I think, and it's causing people, and forgive me. I know I'm not going to say forgive me. I think it's causing people to choose safety.
Mm.
Like people are,
Well, the moment is calling for that for sure.
yeah. So people are really making conscious decisions about making a lot of safe choices. Right? I'm not seeing a lot of people taking a ton of risks. Right now in any parts of their life. However, and I can understand why.
Mm,
Like I felt really, and somebody made a comment about the Knicks situation, and that I hadn't really thought about, and I was just
mm,
like, true. So, with the president going to Game 3 of the Knicks
mm,
and shutting down the watch parties and stuff like that, somebody made the comment like, that's really messed up. And they were just like, all of those small businesses who now
mm.
all of that revenue from, and I was like, dang, like, cause everybody was talking about
The other parts
yeah, you
of
know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
No, like
like,
people don't. That's a kicker to me. I first guessed this here via. I want to say that right, but I'll let her up in a second. You know what? That's the thing that I think is interesting about how every campaign runs on how small business owners are such an important part of America. Small business owners are so, like the backbone of America. Like every political campaign runs on that. But we have one administration that's supposed to solve it for all of the millions of businesses that exist, right? We don't get proper support if you're an entrepreneur support organization from the government. So the government doesn't designate any money specifically for business support, entrepreneur support outside of what it does for the SBA. And the idea that every small business in America is going to somehow all get help from this one entity is wild. You know what I'm saying? And then these moments in time, there's never we stayed open longer because of the small business. You know what? We decided we're gonna do this like this because small business owners need it. Like after getting in office, there's never that. Now shout out to Zoran Mamdani though.
Mamdani.
Mamdani's doing
Mayor Mamdani.
Shout out to him. He's doing his thing. Okay. Yes. Everybody is like, can I get a mayor like that? Let's be clear. And there's more than one truth. From a federal government standpoint, is like whatever. Some of the local politicians, that's why you gotta be voting. Like you gotta vote in your local elections too. And vote, period. Yeah. I've said this before. I don't care if they give you the option to vote on the color of the stop signs. Go vote on it. Okay. I don't care if they be like, hey, do you want this light to turn red, yellow, green? Yes, I do. Go vote on it. I don't care if you already think it happened. I don't care if you like, oh, I don't have an opinion on that. Have one and go vote. Okay. First of all, whatever they give you the option to vote. I don't care if your local elementary school is asking you to vote on the color of their t-shirts. Go vote on it. Even if you don't have kids, like exercise your right to vote, period. Okay. But yeah, no, I think it's always interesting that like small business owners, woo, and then here you go. And then what?
And then you and I both know what that meant, right? Like as I took a step back, I'm like, oh my goodness, because those business owners had planned for additional inventory, additional staff. You know what I mean? Like they had already eaten a lot of the cost to be prepared for, this influx of customer that, was going to be in the vicinity, right? To be able to do that. They may have paid for additional vendor licenses and that sort of thing. And then to turn around and not be able to, and God forbid you're a food business and this stuff is perishable. Like, my God, like, I don't know.
And then for some people, like this time of year or this moment could take care of their entire rest of their year.
That's it.
That's the other part, especially like when you look at like festivals and things like that. I remember when South by Southwest had to get shut down because of the pandemic. It's like, that was those people's livelihood for the next year. It was just crazy. Quick stat, and I'm gonna bring in my guest. Women now own, this is a new stat that was released recently. Women now own over 40% of all U.S. businesses and launching nearly half of all new businesses at 49%. Women entrepreneurship is in a record-breaking surge, experiencing a 69% increase in startup activity and growing nearly double the rate of male-owned businesses. These women-owned businesses, women-owned and founded and led businesses are a massive economic force, providing 10.5 million jobs, roughly generating 2.8 trillion in revenue. However, distinct trends and challenges define this landscape. Solo operators, nearly half, 42% of women entrepreneurs run their businesses entirely alone, more than double men at 19%. Solo versus employer, over 70% of women-owned businesses are solely owned, without employers. Women of color, demographics are shifting, with women of color accounting for roughly 47% of all women entrepreneurs and 57% of women actively taking steps to launch a business, which we knew that already. The funding gap still exists. It says women are less likely to utilize equity financing or SBA loans, which increase their financial risk. Angel investors bridging the gap will now make up half of all angel investors, with 46% of businesses seeking angel capital being women owned. So, I mean, I think the women now own over half of all businesses.
That's amazing. And I'm praying that
I mean, over 40%. I'm sorry. Over
I'm praying
40%.
that we see some trend shifts as more women founders are entering the market as it relates to employee engagement, understanding your employees, providing protections for employees. I mean, women are just dynamic and phenomenal, in and of themselves. So I can't wait to see what kind of shifts we'll make in the market with us, now having such a large number of businesses and having such a powerful impact on the economy. So I'm excited to see that.
I'm excited to see that too. And I agree with you. Hopefully this shift continues. This shift like makes headway, like it creates all across the board. I think it will have to. It feels like it would just have to push the funding landscape different because, like, well, what businesses are you funding if you're not funding a woman? Right, a woman-owned business. Like that's where I think it will go. But at the same time, I feel like I'm hopeful. And I think that like women represent more in the angel investors. I mean, women start to invest in women. So we're not solely relying on an industry that the thing is like it is heavily male dominant is about to be a thing of the past. I think that's also what's coming up. Is that like, oh, it used to be like, oh, because funding is male dominant. Oh, it's male dominant. Yeah. The idea that the funding or the business landscape is male dominant is heavily shifting. And it's like, let's play ball, right? I think like there's so much happening there with evolution of like the relationship between men and women. We see a lot of like the stats play out across like people not getting married, not getting married, having babies, not getting like, it's like women are here. We are here and we are active members of society that deserve to do whatever we want to do in the way we want to do it. And it not have to be related to what a man is going to do, what a man is not going to do, but it also not have to be against what a man is going to do, what a man not have to do. And I think it's like, that's what I don't want. Let's not get into the, oh, they come in, now they got to attack women. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, let's, can we all just get along? Speaking of all just getting along, our next guest believes in love and justice and cookies for all. So I love that. Via's Cookies, a Black woman-owned cookie company dedicated to championing sustainability. They have a fundraiser model where people can sell cookies with them to help their organization. They help multiple communities all at once, donating profits to support college students, sourcing local and sustainably, upgrading to recyclable packaging, and employing women and minorities. So let's talk about cookies. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your conversation really struck me because it's what I'm always talking about with everyone, because I'm a social enterprise.
Yeah. Are you a B Corp? Do you
Not yet. Okay. Not yet. I've been on the fence actually because a lot of people are actually kind of pulling out of the B Corp thing because they've been letting in corporations that are clearly not B Corps.
Oh, that's good. A woman was here last week, a couple days ago. I don't know, my days ago. And we were talking about it. I think that anyway, we don't have to go deep into that. Tell us about you, because I was about to go down a rabbit hole. Tell us about how you launched. Is it Via?
Yes.
Okay, how did you launch Via's Cookies?
I actually launched my business while I was in college. So in my junior year, which was 2020, in 2020, I began making this cookie recipe that I'd actually pulled from when I was in high school, because I've always been a businesswoman. I made cookies in high school to get class president, to get money, to buy a car, all that stuff. So in college, pulled it right back out and said, all right, I need money because everything closed down because of COVID. I want to help the people around me and I want to help other students like me. I was a first gen Black college student, didn't have support from home. So I was like, I got to make something happen. So I started Via's Cookies and I inserted the mission in literally from the very beginning. I want to give back to students like me So I give 5% of my profits to struggling BIPOC and LGBTQ plus college students. And on the cookie journey, I've pitched in multiple business competitions. I've taken home thousands of dollars, and I've put it all into this business. But one of the most important things for me is how could I use this business to help the community around me, to help the world at large, and how can I then encourage other business owners, particularly other people in the consumer packaged goods space, to move to more sustainable models so that in the future we have an earth that we can sell these cookies in and enjoy ourselves in. And so one of the things you said in my little intro thing, it's like, I have a cookie here. Yay. My packaging is recyclable and biodegradable. And it's also made by another BIPOC woman-owned small business. And so, you're talking about like the small businesses. And I'm like, dude, like I got a grant from the USDA and I'm one of the last people who's going to receive that grant in the imminent future because the program is done. The funding, federal funding got pulled for it. It's done. Like after we get our paychecks, it's over. And at the end of the day, we're going to have to rely on each other. We can't be relying on them. We have to be here for each other. And so my business, like we employ local minorities. We currently have an all-women team of bakers. I started this from just my apartment kitchen, but I've grown it to working out of a big commercial kitchen. I have employees. I've got a social media manager. I have a New York City salesperson pounding the pavement. And I'm really trying to make a change in the world. And I say I do it via cookies.
I like that.
But the cookies themselves, they're delicious. I've got gluten-free vegan cookies that everyone can enjoy. So I try to be all inclusive. And you wouldn't know they were gluten-free vegan if I gave you the cookie without telling you. You'd just be like, oh, wow, that's a really good cookie. And then I'd be like, guess what?
Got you. It's gluten-free. Well, no, that's really good. I love that. First of all, congratulations. Congratulations on your growth. Congratulations on even getting a grant from the USDA. Congratulations on having having employees. And so I just want to start there because we got to celebrate too, right?
Right.
Like, yes, we want to fight a good fight. Yes, we want to help everybody out. Yes, we want to, but it's like, yo, you did that. Like you grew that company. You got to the point where you can hire people. And that means a lot. We're just talking about the number of people who are solo founders, who are solo owners, but have no employees. And we're going to see that happen more with AI as well. And then, and also like saying that like it's bad will shift because it won't be a bad thing to have small teams any bad thing anymore, right? Where it's like, oh, you don't have no employees. Now it's like, oh no, but I got 15 AI agents and 5 people that work for me. You know what I mean? Like that would be the move. How do people, so if people are out there and they have schools, because when you were talking about like, now schools are out now, or everybody's getting out. But when you're talking about the fundraising, I think about how every year, that you get that thing to come home, okay, with that bucket, that popcorn, those cookies, what pizzas. Oh gosh, pizzas. Are you thinking about things like that, or are you more like, hey, need to fundraise for college? You could do it through cookies, right? Like I love that you said that because I think this fundraising being accessible is also interesting because everybody's done that. Buy these cookies, buy this popcorn, buy this pizza, blah blah blah. So how are you going about that in adapting partners to take advantage of that?
So specifically with the fundraising that we do, our differentiating factor is, okay, we have the really delicious gluten-free vegan cookies. So like you could just send it to anyone. There's no chance that they're going to have any restrictions unless they can't eat sugar, which I don't know if I'm ever going to tackle that one. But it is the mission. And so we kind of see ourselves as like the Ben and Jerry's of the cookie world, essentially. And so we work with a lot of colleges. We sell our cookies in cafes. So for example, Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, They sell our cookies. They every time they stock them, they sell it in like 48 hours. And so we specifically work with these different student groups, clubs, organizations around those college campuses that we already work with because they have a relationship with us. And so they'll say, okay, we're going to use your cookies for this because we've eaten them, we know them. And then we sit down, we tell them like a pitch lesson, and then we go. So we've worked with like Drexel, we've worked with Cornell University, with Ithaca College, with Pratt. But essentially the model for me, because this is what makes it easiest for me to pitch to people, is I get my cookies into their school first, and then I start spreading out among the community. And it usually works pretty well.
So I have a question, Via. Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of founders, when they're pitching their businesses, they pitch this social mission, right? Where it's like, I give back a certain portion, I'm helping the community. And sometimes they do get pushback from funders because it's like, are you making enough revenue to be able to give to have this as a part of your social impact or your business model? So can you share a little bit about how you incorporated it in? Because I know you said you got USDA funding, you've been pitching, you've raised, so how did you incorporate the fact that, listen, we are a social enterprise, we do have this give back as our mission, but we are revenue, like we're revenue focused?
So the important distinction is that we donate a percentage of our profits. So we have to be profitable in order to give back. And I did that intentionally in the beginning because I said, I know I'm not going to be profitable from the very beginning, from the very start. I need to like figure this out, do all my math, and then, sell this many cookies to do more than breaking even. And that means that sometimes we're not donating. And people just understand that. I'm like, okay, this is what it is. This is a percentage of our profits. And so we have to be doing well. Like it's how you put your own mask on in the airport before you help your neighbor. I have to be doing well in order to then help you. So let's all help build each other up here. At some point down the line, when my numbers are even better than they are now, I'm going to switch it to not profit and more like a percentage of sales that happen, because you do get into hot water with people. They're like, you could just not be donating. And I'm like, okay, well, I am. So whatever. But down the line, I'm going to switch it to taking a portion of all sales. But for now, it's profits so that I can, survive first.
Now, Takia. See, I was trying not to put my funder hat on. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna say that. I thought that was my initial thought, that like a lot of people attempt this, and there's challenges around the idea that like I'm gonna make money and you're gonna make money at the same time, right? One, because it doesn't always grow to be super sustainable. Like I think like the Tom's model that we saw, there's something that has not been said about that business model or that level of resource that we haven't talked about yet, right? And I don't know the answer. I'm just saying like it has to be, because on the surface it's like, oh, make a pair, give away a pair. That's so great. We love that. We love how they gave it away, right? But then it's like, but like, how did they do that, right? Like, what did they do exactly, right? Like, what was the mechanism? What was the unit economics that allowed them to be able to do that? Where like either two pairs of shoes actually cost the one from a manufacturing side, meaning like if it costs them $1 to manufacture a pair of shoes, then they charged us $35. Then they actually just decided that it's so low cost, we'll just have $2 come out, right? But their profit margins on two was still so large that they're like, oh, we could do this, that's fine. I think that's the thing that people miss. It's like they do the profit margins on one of the items that they're doing.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, well, we got enough, we can give something away. And it's like, but wait a minute, you actually need to do the profit margin as if you sold more than one, and then make that margin big enough so you can always be making more money. So
I it's a lot to like that model. And so I'm very interested because a lot of, and via, like a lot of us are giving back in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's sharing our profit, our revenue, or, or even serving in our community, right?
Yeah.
On boards and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mentoring and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And it's very important how, and I also want to make sure that we are very clear about the impact that it has, like what it does to you and
Yep.
your business, right? And so even like, you were sharing about, like I'm giving a portion of my profit now. I need y'all to be real clear about
Yeah.
that, about what I'm doing. But also as you serve the community, right? That is a cost to you and your business as well. And so I just wanted to make sure, and maybe you can speak to that too, right? With having such a social mission, it is a pull
It
on
is.
the owner, right? The founder.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I think running a social enterprise, especially in the political, economic, everything climate that's just like happening right now, that is like really it is so difficult. And one of the things that I will always stand by is like your community. You need to be in community with people around you. You need to take time to hang out with your friends. You need to make art and music, and you need to dance, and you need to do the things that fuel the soul. Because if you let yourself be overtaken by the business, even if it's a good business, even if it's one where you are giving things away and being kind and wonderful to your community, it will eat you alive. And burnout is real. And I've been running the business now for almost 6 years. And I've literally, I started it before I even graduated from college. And so it is all I've really known for like a fifth of my life. And there's balance. You have to find balance or you're going down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next for you? And as we continue to move through this current state, what's next for you?
I am going to continue to grow. I have a goal to be doing millions. I would like my team to be much larger than it is, but I'm also, you were talking about pivoting earlier. That's how it seems like that's how you stay afloat right now. You have to pivot because things are all changing. But I could see myself maybe moving into a co-packer at some point if I need to, but I will always have a team. I will always have a team, and it will always be primarily composed of Black women because I believe that we should be ruling the world. And I am going to continue to give in the many different ways that I can. And honestly, I am going to try and find a way to only work like 3 days a week so that the other days I can paint murals because I'm a muralist.
I love that. I love that, Via. I love you creating an intentional boundary around your time. Like where like I'm gonna do this and I'm still gonna be running a multi-million-dollar business. And I'm gonna be out and painting murals. And because that's what I said, so I'm
exactly.
I love it.
Yeah. Because listen, if you can't get to a point where you reach that kind of freedom, then why do we do all this in the first place?
Yeah.
For real. That's what I'm saying.
Like we did all this for a certain level of freedom. And so it's like, hey, once you figure out what you want that to look like, because I think that's the kicker too. We spend so much time just like, what do I actually want it to look like? So you got to do the thing that brings you joy. Even though business brings us joy too, it's like you got to mix in things outside of business that bring you joy. So I love that. That's so cool. So you're in New York. Do you ship nationwide?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
We're about to get into Clark Atlanta University. So we even are going to be stocking, HBCUs. We are on Instagram at Via's Cookies. My website is Via's Cookies. Very easy to find.
when it comes to the social enterprise model, is that everything that comes in, or is that particular engagements where you're like, okay, we work with this group and then we do it this way? Or is it every
Everything.
dollar that comes in? And how do you designate who you give the capital to?
We actually have an application form on our website. I try to make it very easy because one of the big things about just college and things in general is there are a lot of barriers put in place. Even just with things like food stamps, they make it hard for you to apply to get help. And so I strategically make it as easy as possible to apply to get help.
Okay.
Yes.
So good. I love it.
Or you could just order online. We'll ship them to you.
That's right.
Listen, that's what you see how I was trying to get back to New York. You see how
You are trying to get back to New York. The next game is today.
I'm not getting involved.
They had the Spurs. They're back in Texas today, I think.
There's a lot going on.
But it's still gonna be lit. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Via, for joining us. Everybody, make sure you go to viascookies.com and get you some cookies. All right. Have a good rest of your day. Bye. I love that.
I do too. I love when we're in community with each other. I really, really do. It makes my whole heart leap because we need each other so bad. Especially right now. Like
we do. Mm-hmm. It's so true.
Yeah.
You know what be getting on my nerves?
Oh my gosh. What?
Is this the thing about AI, right? Like they be, don't get me wrong, everybody be acting like it's, it's whatever. It is whatever. However, right? Like there's more to it. It be getting on my nerves because now I done told you what to do. Okay. I done told you what to do. I done gave you the source document to do it with. And you giving me the wrong thing.
Well, it's still hard-headed like regular humans. Like it's hard-headed. Like you can't it. Let me try to tell you something. It's temperamental. It's hard-headed. Sometimes it be lying to you. Like on me. It is still and is. So
yeah.
Listen, I haven't played around with it this week because these kids graduating and y'all homeboy is stressing me out.
Oh no, why? Not stressing you out. I don't know. I need to talk to James. Because I don't know if I need to understand, what I'm saying, what's happening. You see what I'm saying? Like, what is, because he graduated from the 8th grade.
Yes, he graduating from the 8th grade. And look, this him calling me now. He graduating from the 8th grade and he's maturing.
My goodness. He's going to 9th grade. Lord.
9th grade. And we remember when he was like a little short little dude and he was
I know. No, he's not a short little dude no more.
No, that baby taller than me.
He's taller than you.
He's taller than me. My baby that's a linebacker. When you see him, people be like, "Oh, you play football." He be like, "No." No.
OMG. We are these kids getting older. I was telling my mom yesterday, I'm like, this is the last time I'll be at a 5th grade graduation. You know what I'm saying? For my kids. Like, this is the last time.
Yeah.
We're about to go into middle school. Middle school is a time too. So we moved over here from the East Coast. So we're now in LA. Skylar wants to go back. She has been like, oh, I want to move back to Virginia. And I'm like, I got to get you through middle school. Then you can go to your dad's. Mm-hmm. If I get you through middle school, then you can decide, okay, Mom, I want to go live with my daddy. But middle school is crazy.
Yes,
okay?
It's a wild situation.
I had to give, even with her going over there, I had to give her and her dad a tutorial on just in case she gets her menstrual cycle. So I had to give both of them a tutorial on like what to do with everything. You know what I mean? And that's more education than I got. No tea, no shade to my parents. I'm just saying that, like, I think a lot of us around, in our 30s and 40s and 50s can identify with just figuring it out. It would be like, hey, here's the pads. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness, it happened to you. Okay, here's here's the thing. It was not a lot of sit down. Let's open this thing up. You know what I'm saying? I did a demonstration for Skylar. I was like, I made her like take some hope. I'm like, put the panties on and let me show you. Because when you go to the bathroom, you got to sit down. You get like, we went through step by step because I just remember feeling lost a little bit around that and trying to figure out, oh, how do I, as a woman, I don't know. Okay, do I just put it on there like that? And it took me a lot of tripping through it. And some honestly embarrassing moments.
It does. And I think, and we talked about it before about like parenting and how we're trying, like the goal of doing better than, or, trying to do something different than what you got. Right. And I think, like us learning and honestly failing short and having embarrassing moments have evolved us into these dynamic women, right? In every way, shape, or form. One of the challenges I'm having is, like I do have 2 daughters, but they're grown and they are out of the house, right? And so I always knew that my job with my daughters was to teach them how to be amazing women, right? I'm a woman. I wanted them to be amazing women, and I held firm to that. Raising my son is different because I do not know how to teach him to be a man. And so like we are stumbling through, maturity and understanding. And, I can teach him how to treat a woman. I can teach him how to have empathy, and I can teach him to be honest. Like I can teach him those. But being a man, especially in this climate, especially now, like I am stumbling, like, every night, like I'm just like, oh God, please, like help me figure out how to talk to him about, manhood and, navigating relationships and, understanding his feelings and, that sort of thing. So y'all keep me lifted in prayer about it because he going
absolutely we will, girl, because that is the truth. And I think, in this single parent in life, you're trying to play as many roles as you possibly can. And depending on what you knew growing up, you're trying to fill in for what was, what isn't, what you do know, what you don't know. I tried to do as much mentoring relationships as I possibly can.
Yes.
And that, or even like friends. It's just to be able to, because some of it is not said. And I think that like we paint this picture that, our next guest is here, Simone. We're gonna bring her up in a minute. There's this picture painted that everything taught is said. And it's like, no, some of this stuff is not said. Some of the stuff you just learned because you was around the dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You was just around that guy all the time. So you just saw what he did right before bed. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because like some of it's like, yes, get your kid a mentor. Great. Wonderful. Put him in a sport. Great. Wonderful. But they don't see what that man did before he go to bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this little nuanced stuff that I think sometimes people don't acknowledge, that like teaching somebody how to be a something.
Yes.
And then for me, my kids being transgender, both of my older kids. And there was this, and I don't talk about this a lot publicly because one, out of protection for them. But the idea that people would just get upset because their kid is not whatever they thought they were going to be based off of societal standards, and then say it, and then be like, every parent has that. I don't want to shade any parents because everybody has to go through their own process. But sometimes people are worried about things like, am I gonna get grandkids? Or people are worried about like societal perception. I'm worried about societal perception from a protection standpoint. But in terms of like, the one thing that worried me the most, and that still worries me, is that I just did not have a chance to raise you to function in this body in this way, right? I raised you to function as this person. So so there's that makes it years of disconnect between how they may live their life now and what I raised them as. Now, not necessarily in like logic or leadership or them being great people, but just like how to be in the world, how to orient to, how to be a man who orients to women being in the room or space. There's like these little nuanced things, right? Or things that like when you raising a boy, we gotta say different things to them about the police. Well, if you were raised as a girl, I'd have to say that to you. You know what I'm saying? Or not the same way. It wasn't as big of a concern. So it's like how to navigate this moment. And now this came later in life. So I can't even navigate like how to be safe in trance. I don't even know what that means because I don't know the answer to that. But it's like trying to, one that really comes into play is beauty, dressing, clothing, all that. So like let's set aside the human rights side of everything and just say simple stuff like I spent lots of time doing my little girl's hair. That meant we spent lots of time being together. The amount of time I might spend with Skylar and her hair, 3 hours, right? You don't necessarily do that with your boys. You might spend other time, but the hair time is so special between the man and the woman and the daughter, the mom and the daughter. And so what I realized is like, if you somehow in life decide to take another path, we didn't get that time. So even in trying to have a beauty conversation, there's a gap in us being able to talk about aesthetics because we don't have that relationship that says that we get to deeply criticize it, give feedback on it, talk about it. It's like it's a tough dance in trying to navigate conversations, no matter how your kids come out, right? Like no matter how your kids evolve or develop or whatever. But then you're trying to also have conversations with gaps in your own experience with them or your own life. And people don't talk about it. It's like if everybody could just get past the criticism of being a single mom, right? Like get over it, okay? It exists, it's here, people doing it, and they're doing it successfully. Shut up about that part, right? And then also if we can get past the saying, well, because you're a single mom, you need to find you a man. Okay, but like time out. Okay. If we can get past that and we can really just have some practical conversations about, well, what does somebody need to learn? Right? Like, is there something that can be learned? Right? Like, so there is just so much there.
Yeah, and I think, and you brought up a lot of things on me, and I think that we don't give ourselves, or the world doesn't, like either way, enough time to grieve what you thought was, right? But that's the thing, like grief does come. I know I've dealt with grief around what I thought, was going to be, or how I thought things were going to transpire, or even dare I say, who I thought my children were going to be. Because when you give birth to them, like you have this grand idea, they're gonna be and then they create this new life for themselves, and it's like, yes, I'm here. Like, come on, I'm rocking. We together. But I still had this thought when I looked at your little face that you were going to be a poet. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, okay. But then also recognizing that we're still learning. Like I've never been this mom today. I have never been in this moment. And so as I try to figure out this moment, like it doesn't matter that I've had moments in the past, but I've never been a mom on 6/10/2026 at 9:40 something in the morning, with these children being this human that I am in this world.
That's right. This is a good segue. I want to bring up our next guest, Simone Steele. She's an award-winning entrepreneur, board-certified physician associate, mother, founder of Queen Aesthetics Wellness and Beauty Clinic, and Simply Shady. Recognized for innovation in beauty and healthcare, she is a Black Ambition Prize semifinalist, and Shea Moisture, Dartmouth Tuck Executive Education Cohort member. And so inspiring others through leadership, resilience, and impact. And I think it's a good moment to bring her into the conversation around evolution of like who we are, conversations. What does it look like in leadership? What does it look like in resilience? Is resilience a training that you go through? Is it a life life experience, right? Like, how has it developed? So I'm gonna bring her to the stage. Hello, Simone. How are
Good
you?
morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Well,
So Simply Shady versus being a physician's associate. Tell me a little bit about, like, let's start there with, like, what is Simply Shady exactly?
okay.
And then how does that all relate to your business journey?
I want to start by saying I'm a new mom. My daughter just turned one um,
Oh,
on the
congratulations.
30th. So she's been one for
Welcome.
10 days. And I 100% agree. I don't know her from when she was born until now. So I think it's amazing as women how we are able to transition with our children, whatever that looks like, even if it's not the thing that we thought it would be in our head. So I think that is so amazing. And congratulations to y'all's kids graduating and so many things to look forward to. But all last week I was a wreck when she turned one because I'm like, this is not my baby. She's
Yeah.
touching, she's running around saying ABC and rolling her eyes at me. I'm like, whose kid is this? So I can relate there. And in the
That's so
form of
real.
in the in the form of Simply Shady. Simply Shady is a tinted 2-in-1 hybrid sunscreen because I noticed that Skin of Color didn't have a lot of options for sun protection, but we dye at the highest rate, which is crazy, seeing that we don't get it as often. So that kind of transition from being a PA in the dermatology and plastic space to now having an e-commerce brand has been fun and challenging to say the least. But I equate it to this motherhood journey too. It's fun and challenging. So I think every aspect of life requires us to put on a different hat. So I'm learning what those different hats are.
Well, this is exciting because I'm in the beauty space, and so I'm all into like, girl, hey girl, I'm all into the skincare and that sort of thing, and I'm seeing a lot more of Black women getting into like this tinted, body care, this sun,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So, what made you jump into it in this way? Like, because we don't traditionally think of our skin, you know what I mean, and
Right.
that. So tell me how do you jump into this?
So originally I was burned by a laser, even though I'm in the skin space in general. I went, sometimes when you go to see your provider, even if you're a provider, I don't want to be my provider. I want to go and hear about your subject matter expertise. So I went and I was burned so bad. And the burn left lasting hyperpigmentation, dark spots. In that, I needed sunscreen to help me protect my skin so it wouldn't get darker. But everything had me looking like Casper. So then I didn't want to wear it, but I needed it. And I didn't want to do any physical chemical sunscreens that had like avobenzone or octrees, all the things that people frown upon right now. Um, so I started messing with some minerals in my kitchen at first, but then they start growing a little mold. And I'm like, oh, that's not right. So I found a cosmetic chemist and we worked together to create a mineral-based sunscreen that's tinted that helps with mild coverage but leaves no white cast. So that's what I put on this morning, just straight sunscreen only, because I like it. It's like a everyday wear. Lash, lip gloss, and sunscreen. That's all you need.
I love that. Like because I'm a proponent for a three stepper. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Give me brows, lips, and a lash, and I'm having a good day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think too, like with sunscreen, Black women tend to shy away from it, right? Like they tend to go to the left with it. They're like, no, I don't need sunscreen. My melanin is. Can you talk to them a little bit about why you need it? Like, come on, y'all. Like, let's get on.
Yeah. I think the old age saying is black don't crack, but it melts and it swells and it does all the other things. So we have to be protective in that aspect. Of course, our melanin protects us from simple signs of aging, but anti-aging is still a big thing for us. And that includes protection of our skin, not only of our face, but all of our limbs. Skin is our largest organ. So we protect everything else. We try to eat right. We work out to build up our muscles or lose weight. Why are we doing the same thing for our largest organ? So that is a huge, huge, huge thing to just be cognizant of, because the sun is not going to change. Actually, it's getting worse and it's getting closer. And so a lot of the times we're going to have even more issues that come up that are sun related, just be
Mhm.
from the ozone layer, all the things that science is telling us. But hyperpigmentation is that big thing in our community. Dark spots, inability to have even skin tones and textures, especially postpartum. I suffer with cystic acne, things that I never had. I'm like, bro, having a baby bring bumps. It was annoying. So just minor things. I'm trying to bust them, even though I'm a derm. I'm not supposed to be busting the bumps, but I have to touch them now. And then now it's a dark spot. So how can I combat those issues? And that's why I built a 2-in-1 hybrid. That it combines skincare and sun care in one bottle. So I'm reducing the steps. I'm protecting as well as correcting skin issues and concerns that people may have.
She talking up my alley because I be needing Simone. Let me try to tell
You
you.
see, I just went on mute. You see what I'm saying? You see, I just was like, you know what? I ain't even. I already know this secures. So I'm just going to hang back from this.
Because like I love beauty. But a lot of times we put on makeup but don't take care of our skin. Right. So we, like we'll cover it all up, baby. We look flawless. Mm-hmm. But then our skin underneath is out here fighting, right. So I'm always excited to see another founder come on board who's really sharing, like, listen, you got to protect your skin and the ways that you need to do it and creating products around it. And so I do want to ask, you said you went to a cosmetic chemist. And a lot of people don't kind of understand the nuance of that. So as you were in development, you said, listen, I was making it in my home, but hey, I went to a chemist. So what made you like, you know what, let me go expert on this to really drive this home?
I felt like I was the expert, but I was the expert in skin in general. As a PA, I have a derm center here in Houston where we have hundreds of beautiful Black women, brown women, orange, all colors, men and women alike. And we treat their skin. We do injectables and everything. So I feel like I was the expert in that space. And then when I started to mix and match, I was like, I don't know a thing when it comes to these formulations. I knew what I wanted it to do. I knew I wanted it to be moisturizing. I knew I wanted it to help people with their dark spots. I knew I wanted it to be protective, but I didn't know how to bring all those things together in a cute little bow. Understanding that was the biggest thing for me to be like, okay, let me start reaching out to some cosmetic chemists in the area. And again, being in a derm space, we've been in multiple connection with different people. So once I finally found a chemist that had the backing in specifically skincare, because a lot of cosmetic chemists do millions of things, but I wanted somebody who was focused on skin and sun care. So once I found them, we started messing around with the formulas, sending multiple samples. This took over about 2 years. It wasn't overnight. And once we finally found samples that blended well without leaving a chalky gray or not too oily, not too dry. So, and that's difficult because of different people's skin types. I think the advantage that I had was having my brick and mortar, having those women already in close proximity to me. I was able to get them to be beta testers. Try this product, try this sample for the next 60 days. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. And that was all, we did that with 200 women. So I think that was the good thing about that. And then having the cosmetic chemist, putting it all together was the icing on the cake.
Now, she talking up your alley because she talking about beta testing and making sure that, did you know?
Well, I got a question maybe this is for both of y'all, because I think the sunscreen thing for me, and I live in California, right? So like so much sun, a lot of time. I never know where I'm supposed to put it when, like, right? Because like, okay, so if I am putting on a full face of makeup for that day, I'm like, I'm not supposed to put it on then, but then it's like, okay, but then do I put it on every day? And then I think like, and then it's not the ones that I found that are even the good ones, like, and I mean good meaning like good ingredients, that, you know, I don't look ashy. They're not moisturizing, and I like to look, or they don't feel like they look moisturizing. So I like to look dewy. You know what I mean? And they don't give you dewy; they give you flat. And so I think there's that. So I think then it's like, okay, do I put it on to put something on top of it? That don't make sense, because then you know, so then I'm like, you know, I'll be fine. You know, I think that is where that comes in. So I already got on makeup, I'll be fine. You know, like I think, and then, you know, you're not thinking about putting it all over your body. Because here's what I would say, and I think this is the case for, you know, I would dare say, I can't speak for all Black folks, but I would dare say, here's the challenge for people, for folks of color. We just got to focus on not being ashy. Okay. We are focused on being moisturized. And I don't find much SPF that is giving much sunscreen that is giving me moisturized. It's giving me, I'm protecting you. Great. Love that. But I was taught I need to slap on this Vaseline. You see what I'm saying? And I need to be shiny. Yeah, when I walk out, if it ain't shining, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? It's looking ashy. That is what I think is the friction between folks using it.
Simone only trying to fry herself in the sun.
Yeah,
That's what's trying to.
But here's the thing, I'm fine. Because that's what I think too. Like in business, any side of business you want, not just y'all.
Yeah.
You know, there's also in the customer friction of like changing the customer's behavior, what people also got to understand, not y'all, but I'm saying in general, is that I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? Like does it theoretically say like that's happening? But like I don't feel that. It's interesting. I used to sell vacuum cleaners, right? And the one interesting thing about vacuum cleaners that I tell people is, at that time, you had to go up to somebody's house to try and sell them something they already own and really don't see a problem with. Right. Like everybody's using a good vacuum cleaner, they fine with it. They don't see a problem with vacuuming. It's like, hey, my vacuum is fine, got it from Walmart, it's doing what I needed to do. This is probably the one thing that I think people forget in selling their own products, is that whatever people are already using, they're already fine with it. So you got to either make them unfine with it, or you got to or you're showing them like how yours enhances, how they're already fine. Like there's like so many selling points there, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just always curious about what is the sunscreen that's gonna make me moisturized and protect me and give me the look that I want aesthetically. I mean, maybe there's no answer for that, so I'm not saying y'all got.
There was an answer, simply shady, but no. Honestly,
period.
Honestly, the one that we have is a clear formula called Air, and this is more of a physical based formula. And what it does goes on clear, but it's like a gel, and that gel is so moisturizing. It's not matte, it's not flat, and you can use it on whole body. When people say, "Oh, I only use sunscreen when I'm going to the beach," or "I only use sunscreen when I'm going outside," not understanding that UVA and UVB rays coming in right now through open windows, your phone, blue light, all those things directly affect your skin. People who say they don't need sunscreen, that is true. But if I'm telling you that sunscreen can prevent potential skin cancer upwards of 50% by doing one step, you like, oh no, forget that one step. Let me just keep eating. You know, that's like saying, let me keep drinking out the plastic water bottle, even though this has been proven to do it. And ultimately, when it comes to sunscreen, we wanted to make this whole 2-in-1 thing, right? So I'm cutting down on these steps. It's moisturizing. Anytime, any exposed area that you have, you want to protect. So and people neglect the neck all the time. Don't neglect that neck. The neck gonna tell how old you are before anybody sees your face. Put some sunscreen on your neck. So hands, back of your hands, same thing. And we see that a lot on the cosmetics and in office, because a lot of people come like, look at my hands, they look so old to me. And it's like a little sunscreen, a little collagen stimulation goes a long way. But ultimately, I think when trying to change the mind of the consumer, I like to hit on the pain points. And I think for my audience, it's really those dark spots, the slogan for my business is it's the maintenance that your melanin requires. I'm trying to maintain your melanin. I'm trying to maintain your youth, your glow, your beauty. And you can only do that by protection. Sure, people come in and be like, oh, in the cosmetic world, we offer Botox. It's like, you see this deep line right here? My mother has that. I don't want that. My grandmother had that. I don't want that. It's like, great, I can help you with that. Because you've seen somebody, you didn't like it, and now you want to do something different. So that's kind of my messaging as well when it comes to the sunscreen, to change the mindset around aging.
I think too, eventually there's going to be a climate change case. So I think right now we're not, people are not paying enough attention to it per se. I mean, I think we're paying attention more and more, but I think there's going to be a climate change case for sunscreen at some point.
I agree.
I think so too. And I think, and Omi, thank you for sharing, like, as a consumer, right? Like what a consumer's thought is around it, because oftentimes we're so deep into the product creation and what we know, like what we know that we're not.
Yeah, y'all know the truth.
Yeah, so it's
I'm cool. The average consumer is cool with the truth they don't know.
Yeah, they're like, I'm fine, I'm cool. But it is. You should absolutely be putting on sunscreen before you put on your foundation.
Okay, got it.
And some foundations have sunscreen in it, but it's like
they do.
15. It's not a lot, and you're not gonna reapply.
No. So
wait, we gotta reapply sunscreen.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Simone, write that down.
Write that down. Now y'all doing
I need to put that in the marketing.
Now here's the thing: does it smell good? It doesn't. It never smells good. So this is what I'm saying. This is another thing, right? Like I'm supposed to apply it, and I'm supposed to reapply. Y'all y'all done told me something. I didn't know I was supposed to reapply. I got to do it twice, Jesus.
You got to do it as many times as necessary, depending on how long you are outside and being in direct contact with sun.
Yeah, I went from the car to the store. And I went from the store back to the car.
Back home. That's it.
And I went back. You see what I'm saying? Then I went to the garage. You see what I'm saying? So I need some help on figuring out.
How many times I got to put this on now?
You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize we need to do it more than once. Y'all have now hit me to something, because even at the beach, I'm putting it on one time. We good for the whole day.
Yeah. So I've been out here for 8 hours. We good.
Look, Simone, I say no. You're not. That thing.
Well, I just learned something. Okay. One, you need to put that sunscreen on under your foundation. And that's why you got to get the right one, because I can't be ashy and put foundation on the one. And that's why you got to get Simply Shady.
I'm gonna have to send y'all some. Y'all gonna have to send me y'all address.
Simply Shady. That's it. Is it simplyshady.com?
Simplyshady.net.
Simplyshady.net. Okay.
All right.
Make sure y'all go get it, because don't be out here.
Ash be gone.
There we go.
That's
maintaining your melanin.
I can't fool with her because she cuts up.
The dark spots thing, I think, is so real. Like, that is one for sure that I'm thinking a lot about. One, I mean, if you come out with an under eye cream, girl, please let us know, because the under eye darkness, I can't find nobody on the planet. Well, there's one. And interestingly enough, it's an aging one. It's what's the woman's name? Good Lord, she's an actress. I can't think of it.
It's okay.
It's in a purple little tub, and I actually got them as a free gift going to a CNBC event, and they gave us. CNBC has this event called Changemakers, and they gave us these. Oh my God, the gift bag was amazing. But anyway. It has so much stuff in it, and it had this in it. And I was like, let me try these. And that's the only thing I've been able to find that actually really did a little bit of lightening. Topicals is okay. But do you have under eye cream?
The thing about it is what you can sell over the counter can't penetrate some of the deeper layers that they have to. That's the problem. Because there's standards. So once it becomes like, let's say, this one specific product has licorice root. Once the licorice root becomes over the counter standard, then you have to get it by prescription, and then that's an issue. So a lot of over the counter stuff has to meet these certain standards and is unable to fully correct
Get
mhm,
deeper
the
into
treated area. But
Mm.
honestly, I love a little PRP under the eye.
What's
PRP.
PR? Come on. Listen now, Simone. I just told y'all that I didn't know you had to apply sunscreen more than
Okay,
once.
so what the heck is
What is a PRP?
so PRP is a procedure where you go, we draw your blood, we put it in this machine that separates the plasma and everything, and then we put it underneath the eyes. So it's collagen stimulating as well as helping with a little tone and texture. And then I like to prescribe a cream for under eye that consists of 3 compounded medications to kind of dab under there nightly.
You gotta go
Mm.
see Simone. That's what it is. Because
So you need some PRP so you can be a PYT. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
hello.
yes.
Whatever Michael
Period.
Jackson said, that's what you need.
You know what?
Okay.
There's a lot of
Where are
cutting
you
up in there.
based?
I'm in Houston. I'm in Houston, Texas.
In Houston. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, cool.
But you say you're in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
I'll
So they
send you some
got
links for LA. I know a lot of great Black women who are derms and injectors in LA, and I'll send you a few rakes.
yeah, send me some because also my daughter has eczema and so she has discoloration
Hmm.
in places where she's experienced it and her skin is darker. And so it's
Yeah,
like me trying to figure out where to take her. I took her to like the doctor, to the like dermatologist like in our doctor network or whatever. And it was just like, oh, here's this what
steroid.
was it? Steroid cream,
Yeah, that's
apply it
steroid.
once or whatever. And I'm like, this is not doing the lightning.
Right, right.
You know what
And
I
it's skin
mean?
in the skin, which could potentially have an adverse effect of what you want.
Yes. Because them steroids, like you can get that what is it called, Simone, when you have when you get basically your skin gets addicted to the steroid and then you have to detox
Yeah,
from
you can
the
get a rebound
steroid.
effect.
Mm-hmm.
Really? See,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't want to do
That's what
that.
they like
I
to
don't
do
even
for
want her to have
holidays.
to.
Like you get your
Mm.
steroids 3 months and got to at least be off it for 3 months prior. You know, they try to
Yeah.
do holidays. Yeah.
See, that's why I don't know about all that. She's only 11. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't got time to be trying to put a whole bunch of stuff on her. She's still fresh and new and a kid.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to do that. I just want
I
to
love
find a
it.
good.
She's still fresh and new. She's still fresh. She's still new.
That's
She's
Yeah,
right.
don't drop that Vaseline. Throw that Vaseline on there.
Yeah.
She right. That Vaseline ain't doing nothing for no coloration. Y'all know that. Now that I think is why I didn't have acne though, because I think my pores are stuffed up. See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think my mom put so much Vaseline on me that the no bumps could come through. It was just like I ain't even got time to fight all this petroleum.
Okay.
I'm good down here. So I never had a lot of acne, so it was interesting. There's also like things we gotta let you go. Maria, our next guest, is here, but there's also things around like Botox. I think we should talk about fillers and things like that as a community because I feel like, I'm in LA, child.
Mhm.
Everybody out here face filled with something.
Yeah.
So,
But I say the best. Our motto is fresh, not frozen, and the best injectable is undetectable. I want you to look like you, just better, like you slept for a good amount of time and you just look refreshed and overall new. I don't want to make you look like somebody else. So people who come into my office and bring me pictures of people that they want to look like, that's not my kind of client. And I think too much in the wrong area makes you look like overdone, Miss Piggy. People look very pillow face, handsome Squidward, and that's just not the goal.
She still got handsome Squidward. I can't. Like that's it for me today. Like you might as well just. My day is made. What are you? Look around. Handsome Squidward. Wait a minute. What?
I love that you said that because I be looking at women's faces out here like, is that what you intended? Like, how do you think? I mean, but like maybe for them it looks. I don't know
But
what they're seeing is.
You gotta let it. Like if you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I look absolutely amazing, walk out the door. It don't get no better
You're
than
right.
it.
You're right.
Like, so you just gotta let it. If that's
Yeah.
where you went and that's how you feel. But I think that eliminating the stigma around it.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like if you decide that you want a little Botox, you need a little filler, you need it, and it's okay. Like it's okay because you made that choice for yourself. And that's what you want for you. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Is that stigma around it.
I agree.
I can't do the needles, so I'm gonna need face exercises because I'm gonna have to be in there like, because I can't do the needle, like a needle in my face. I can't. I'm barely these GLP-1s. I'm barely moving on that. You see what I'm saying? I gotta stick myself every week. I'm barely moving on that. So to stick a needle in my face feels like a lot. And then like in my mind, okay, this may not be true because we gotta let Simone go. You see what I'm saying? I hear that baby back there having a good time.
Baby,
I love it. I love it.
Do.
I love it. Then I'd be like, is it gonna move around? You know what I'm saying? So like one day I'm looking flawless. You know what I'm saying? No wrinkle lines, no nothing. And next day, like I look like I got some on my cheek. It's a little puffy. Like, does it circulate the face? How does it stay where it need to stay?
Yeah, going to a provider that's done it, but it's about the plane. I think oftentimes people don't know which level they're injecting in, and then that increases the propensity to migrate.
See, we're going to have to bring her up, and she's going to have to give us let us know. You know what I'm saying? Because we out here, just sticking it in all the planes, and that's not how it is.
No, look, I'm gonna let that go because that could go multiple ways. All right, so here's what I say: simplyshady.net. Make sure you go check her out. Instagram, what are you? Simply Shady?
Simply Shady Sunscreen.
Simply Shady Sunscreen. That's right. Now we know you're supposed to apply sunscreen more than once. Okay. You also supposed to put it on before you put on your foundation. Okay. We have learned today. If you did not know, now you know. Simply Shady has let us know. Simone Steele, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for showing up.
Thank y'all, ladies.
Wait, what's the name of your practice though that people can come
Queen
see?
Aesthetics. Queen Aesthetics.
Queen Aesthetics. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Queen
In
Aesthetics in Houston. If you're in Houston, go check her out. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank y'all. Send me your address.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
It was good. I appreciate the insights.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because we don't know, like you always say, we don't know. We don't know. We
don't know.
We need to find it out. And the way we're going to find it out is we're going to work with some people to find it out. You see what I'm saying?
Listen.
So I think I'm here for it. Okay. Our last guest for today, speaking of youth, Maria L. Melendez is the founder, CEO of Embrace Her Legacy and CEO of the Business Daycare. I saw daycare and I said youth. My bad. That's actually not it. I apologize. CEO of the Business Daycare, boutique brand marketing agency supporting entrepreneurs, nonprofits, and personal brands. A woman and girls leadership advocate, bilingual speaker, and author. Okay. Now, when you put bilingual, I just need to know what language is now. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hello, Maria. How you doing?
Hi, Ami. Hi, Takia. Is it Ami?
It's owe me, like you owe me money.
Owe me. And Takia, I was backstage listening to the previous guest, and I was like, I'm so glad I put on sunscreen today.
Yeah.
Well, did you know you might need to reapply it? Did you know that, Maria?
I didn't even know that. And then she caught me with the neck situation. I was like, she is so right. I totally forgot. Like, we forget our neck and our hands.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We do. But you know what, though? With the skincare, and then Maria, then you're going to tell us all about all the things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, we're doing it not to luxuriate. I want us to luxuriate when we do our skincare. So really not rush through the process of it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you get your neck and your décolleté, and you know what I mean? Because you're luxuriating.
Yes. I like that. You know what? Tomorrow morning, Takia, I'm going to luxuriate just for you.
Luxuriate. There you go. And you got to say it slow.
Luxuriate.
You see what I'm saying? There you go. Speaking of luxuriating, okay, what you're doing with these businesses, small businesses, I'm really curious about why deciding to call it the business daycare. I got questions.
The business daycare. So a little bit about me. I'm a proud Brooklyn girly. New York is on fire right now because, you know, our Knicks are in the finals, and that kind of informed my career path. I grew up very hip hop mobile influence, and I went into the music industry, and, you know, I was on that trajectory until my beautiful job, my dream job became a beautiful nightmare. And one of those reasons was the lack of woman empowerment inside of the industry. Like, for me, it was like mind-boggling to see that, you know, it was catty and competitive. And I was like, well, doesn't this end? Like, I thought this ended in, you know, those early years. So that was the genesis of my first business, or the intern organization called Embrace Her Legacy. And what I do there is I provide personal development. We provide personal development workshops, programs, media, and coaching for young women. And then, because as an entrepreneur, you end up learning how to do everything, right? You don't mean to, but then you end up learning. In that, you know, one day, I'm not even gonna say I came up with that name. That wasn't me, that was God. One day I was literally, and I was like, I feel like a lot of people called on me because of my experience in media marketing and then into business and nonprofit, to ask me questions about starting the business, about, you know, launching. What do I do with social media? And one day I was literally in prayer, and I was like, it feels like people drop off their businesses to me as if it were a daycare. But, you know, when your child goes to daycare, it's normally in those real early formative years. Like, you're not dropping off your 16-year-old to daycare. And that's where the idea came up, the business daycare. It's really like people who come to me, they drop their babies off to me, and they work with me to help develop and grow their babies in those formative years. So whether it's a personal brand, whether it's another nonprofit leader, whether it's someone who's just interested in becoming an entrepreneur, that's how the name came about. And, you know, I've already worked and been known for working with young women. So that's pretty much how that came about. Mm-hmm.
I will say I'm not necessarily a fan of people relating to their business as their baby. I get the metaphor overall. However, the level of emotional tie can sometimes prevent people from really developing their businesses and selling their businesses. I always say, like, hopefully you sell your business and you don't sell your actual kid. Right. So I think that the emotional connection to your business is right. It's great, but like there also needs to be a degree of separation from it. So I'm always like, I always caution people and push back when they say, like, oh, because this is my baby. I'm like, yeah, no, stop saying that.
I can see that perspective. It's hard. Can we be honest? Like, as a business owner, it's hard to let go. Like, it is one of like anyone who starts and funds their own business, it's hard to let go. I was just reading a book, Start With Yourself by Emma Grede, which I think is one of the most amazing women entrepreneurs out there today. And I was just reading on that, like how she was just like, there comes a point in time where you have to understand, as a founder, you can't do everything all the time on your own, and you have to learn to let go. Right. So even tying it back to the business daycare, I see the perspective of baby, but even some of us don't want to let go of our children sometimes, right? We got to let them grow. We got to let them grow up. We got to let them make the mistakes. And, you know, sometimes you got to stand on the side and say, oh. So that's kind of how, you know, I see it, like learning to let go and trust someone else. If I could have had someone else help me along the way, I would have. But then you have this emotional connection. Like, I got to. I think renewing the mind over your role as a business owner is really important.
And I think that sometimes, interestingly enough, you have like Embrace Her Legacy, and then you have the business daycare. And I think conceptually, for business owners, not necessarily for your businesses, I'm just saying in terms of like, Embrace Her is around this. It sounds like empowerment, you know, to evolve through industry and through what you're doing as a woman, that kind of thing, business owners. in the business daycare, it's like, okay, drop off your baby to me, I'll take care of it. I think like the overall empowerment pieces, understanding how to let go is just so important. Because sometimes the narrative of not wanting to let go is actually bumping up against your evolution ability to get funding and your ability to believe things outside of you. So I have people all the time who are like, yeah, and I'm making X, they want to tout their revenue, but then I'm like, okay, great. But then it's like, oh, well, how big is your team? It's just me. Why? Why do you have revenue, but you're not hiring nobody? And I'm not saying you got to hire them as an employee, like full time, but then people will forget to say, oh, but I do have contractors. Okay, great. So immediately it's telling me as a funder, your thought process. You're not thinking about yourself as running a team. You're thinking about yourself as having to do it all. You're remaining a liability. You're not letting go is creating liability in your business. And people don't somehow put that together. And then there's all the stats and the narratives around like people not want to help women or not want to help Black women. And then people start saying all that. And it's like, you saying all that, which I'm not saying there's no truth to that. Of course, we could look at the numbers. But I'm also saying more than one thing is true. You're saying that and not evolving yourself at the same time to be in a certain position to be able to have anybody step into your business in any kind of way to either support you, either push you forward, or help you grow this business from a funding perspective or from a employee contractor perspective either. And so I think there's just so much psychology there in terms of like, oh no, I can't possibly, I gotta, because it's like, yeah. Your kid is going to grow up regardless. Your business, you have a choice with. Your kid, you have no choice. They're going to grow up. They're going to move out. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. You have a choice with your business, a deeper choice, one that you can make sooner than the one you might make with your kids. Not just for the sake of like your connection to it, but also for the sake of like, look, if you want to grow this thing, if you want to get funding, you're going to have to think differently.
Yeah, we do. And I think that's something that maybe at the beginning of starting a business that those conversations be had. And I think it comes down to everyone should define what success means to them. To some people, they want to some people don't. And it's comforting that it's okay to say, you know what, I'm not trying to scale this into a multi-million, billion-dollar business. I'm okay running this, small business, me and my family. I think it's important for everyone to just define what success means to you. The business doesn't have, some people don't ever want to sell their business. Some people want to pass it down generation to generation. Some people are like, hey, you know what, this was fun. This was great. I'm gracefully bowing out. So I think like, making it okay in this space of entrepreneurship, like, and especially in these last few years where entrepreneurship has it, especially amongst women and women of color, we're starting business at such a proliferated rate for various reasons, right? And also normalizing it's okay if you don't want this to be acquired by Procter & Gamble one day. And it's okay if you do, defining what success means to you. And essentially, to me, I like to say, what legacy do you want to leave? Because you're living your legacy daily, whether you like to believe it or not. So I think that's why just having those conversations about what success is for you and why is that success. Because sometimes we're like, oh, this is successful to me because this is what is expected of me. But at some point, you got to say, like, this is my life, and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And this is what's successful to me, and this is what makes me happy, regardless of what other people may say or believe.
I do enjoy that. I do enjoy the opportunity to afford founders the ability to create the business that they want to create for themselves and in their family. And I think this might be a question for Omi too, as well as for you, Maria, as we think about this, right? As we think about business owners really coming up with this definition of success, right? When you start developing, when should you be looking at a funder and when should you not, right? So a lot of times is if I don't plan on scaling this past where it is now, right? Like if I'm like, listen, this is where I want to be. This is where I sit and I'm okay with it. I'm excited. I'm successful. Should I even be looking at additional funding? Like, I think that's like like a question that's out there, like, you know, am I looking like, because then what are you looking for funding for, right?
Sure.
Because I'm funding you to grow, right? But you're saying success right now is for you to stay where you are, and that's okay. So I think that's one of the questions that is out there for a lot of funders too. Like, you know, like I love what I'm doing now, and I kind of want to sustain it. I don't necessarily want to grow. Should I be looking for funding, or should I be increasing my revenue? Like, what should I be doing?
Right.
Just a question for funders out here.
I know. Maybe you
Go ahead, Marie.
I think honestly, going back to what success means to you, and I'm gonna share an anecdote. I was watching again the Immigrant podcast yesterday with episode with Jackie Aina. And I loved how she addressed this. And of course, she was talking about influence doesn't always mean business, translate to business or business sales. But she was saying how her and her husband have completely self-funded the business, which is Forever Mood. And she was posed with this question, well, where are you going to get outside funding? And she said, well, you know, that time will come. But right now, we're okay like this. And she knew it was going to be, you know, giving up equity and all the things, and the business is doing fine as well. So I think it comes back to defining like where you are, looking at your number, looking at your metrics, where you, and if you want to grow. I heard Monique Rodriguez say this, and I think another dope CEO, businesswoman. You raise money when you don't need the money, because when you need the money, right, you may run into different obstacles. You might out of your eagerness, you might take some deals that aren't leaning in your favor. So I think as an entrepreneur, if you have that goal to grow in any way, shape, or form, I think you should be intentional about building relationships with people and starting, because fundraising, especially I fundraise for nonprofit, it is so much more relationship oriented than it is about transactional. So if you know, let's say you mark out your calendar, and let's say the young lady who just left, she has the sunscreen, and maybe next year she knows she wants to add an additional option. I would suggest that you start looking for relationships now, so that when the time comes, when it's time for you to start raising funds and asking for money, those relationships are already built and already set. So I think it goes back to defining success. If you know you want to grow, you know how much it's going to cost you, you know you need extra employees, you know you need this, that's the time to start developing relationships with people who are going to help you reach that level of success financially.
Yeah. So I agree with that. I think for me, one of the things I was thinking about when I was talking about define success for yourself, I agree with that. I think the challenge that I see in that is like, when you do define success for yourself, then like stick with that and roll with it, right? I think what then happens is that people then, not saying you got to be one way forever, but people then start to like do all this criticism of funders. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, people won't give me nothing. Oh, ain't nobody gonna help. But get to the level that we try to fund you at. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not trying to get to that level, then miss me with all the stats you want to run down, how you want to paint all this picture of like the woe is me. Like, go with what you want to go with. Do what you want to do. Build the success you want to do it. I think that you absolutely can self-fund and find a great business model and then keep it rocking. I think you absolutely can do that. And it really depends on your resource when you start, right? You know, Jackie Aina, you might not be ready to work at the level that Jackie's working at. Right. So like, for her, she could say, oh, me and my husband self-funded, because the level she ready to work at. So people ask me all the time, like, oh, how do I know when to quit my job? I can't tell you when to quit your job because I don't know what you're willing to do. Are you willing to sell blood? You know what I mean? Are you willing to, what you willing to do? You willing to pawn everything in your house? I don't know. So I can't, all people can see is what you have done. I can't see what you're about to do. Only you can see that. And only you know how hard you're willing to work for that. So when it comes to different kinds of funding, what I will say is if you're not looking to, and this may shift, I don't know, but if you're not looking to exit in some way, like have a liquidity event, like either merge with somebody, get bought by somebody, go public, like IPO. If you're not looking to do any of that, then VC capital may not be for you. All right. Venture capital, VC funding. Venture capital may not be for you if you're not looking to move toward a liquidity event in the next 10 years. Just to say that. If you are not bringing in revenue, I would not encourage you to, or have a plan for it in the within your loan terms. I would not encourage you to go get a loan. If you don't have a plan for revenue generating soon, I would not encourage you to go get a loan. Now, if you're building out a brick and mortar, or you're building out, you may have to go get loans. And I would say, like, you want to be real strategic around when your build is going to be finished, because you want to just be strategic around what it's going to look like to, again, start to generate revenue. If you are starting out and you are still considering whether or not you're going, now I'm not, from an angel investor standpoint, yes, you still want to have a liquidity event in mind, merge, IPO, get acquisition. You still want to have that in mind. But angels are a little bit more forgiving. And I'm not saying to take advantage of angels, because angels lose a lot. So it's like, take those relationships seriously. Those are deep relationships that can get you to more funding. But again, the liquidity event is so key, or some type of rev share model, right? So I think, like, you're going to pay back most of the funding. You're going to pay back in some way. You're going to pay a loan back. You're going to pay a safe note back. You're going to pay, a convertible note back. Like, you're going to pay something back. So I think, like, just noting that, unless it's, even a loan is non-dilutive, but you still got to pay it back. Somewhere in there, you get funding. It's to be invested and then regenerated, and then it's gonna have to go somewhere, right? Like, know that, like, it's circular.
Yeah,
I think if you don't see a strategy for it to be circular, then you need to really think about your business model. Because sometimes people, like, just dump money in, nothing out, money in, nothing out, money in, nothing out. And don't get me wrong, there may be a period of that, but it's strategic. It's got to be strategic. Like, when is it going to come back in some way, and how? And so I think that it, like, mindset wise, how's this money going to come back in some way, and how? Period. So I think, like, thinking about funding from that standpoint is what I would add to the relationship part. Like, relationships are everything. You got to have those relationships, hands down. You got to be building those relationships.
Yeah, I agree.
What are you working on next, Maria? Where can people find you? What should they lean into before we let you go?
Well, this is my busiest time of year. I joke, I say the Knicks are in the finals, so am I, because it's our championship season. So we have, as Embrace Her Legacy, we are hosting our 12th cohort of Embrace Her Legacy Academy, New York City Summer Institute, for young women ages 14 to 21. It's a really immersive personal and leadership development program that I curated myself, and this is our 11th year in the making. So that's what's going on. And this year, we are now bringing together our alumni from all over the country right here in New York City. At the end of the program, we're calling it the Legends Reunion. That's what I call my girls. They're legends. And we'll have our college scholarship celebration. So I'm really primarily focusing on making sure that I have the community that shows up for these girls and knows that they are seeing that their confidence building matters, their leadership development matters. So that's what I'm primarily focused on right now until July 17th. And, I still have my brand marketing that I do through the business daycare as well. And, my public speaking and all those type of things. But most importantly is my girls right now. And if anybody wants to know more about how they can support, we have something called the Legacy Collective, which is our opportunity for our community to support as, monthly givers and monthly subscribers, whether it's $25, $50 a month, to really just create this community of just people who want to see the next generation of entrepreneurs, of community leaders, of elected officials, just want to invest and pour into them. And all of that can be found out at embraceherlegacy.com. And you can definitely follow us at Embrace Her Legacy Official, or follow me at The Inspiration Homegirl 1 on Instagram.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And your question at the beginning, she said bilingual, Spanish.
Okay.
Awesome. Spanish.
Okay. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. This is wonderful. Today ended up being about a lot of empowerment, a lot of women's empowerment. And again the ways that the things end up theming themselves out without us even planning it. It's just so cool the way that happens. Okay, well, that's our show for today.
Yes.
I know you won't be here tomorrow. We'll see you on Friday.
Yes, I'll be here on Friday. I'm gonna be cheering James on as he crosses that stage tomorrow.
Woo-hoo. Yes. Amazing. That's so good. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, friend.
Mm-hmm. We got to get, like, when these kids have accomplishments, we got to congratulate the moms. We don't do it enough. Well, we had to go through. You see what I'm saying?
Listen,
yeah.
We're not going to bring it up. We ain't going to bring it up. I'm not short and blonde for nothing. I just let people know that I'm not short and blonde for nothing.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day. I will see you on Friday. All right.
See you Friday.
All right, y'all out there, y'all have a good day too, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. This has been the 30-day show, the BGV edition. All right, we'll see y'all.
Talk to you soon.